Welcome to Keep Your Thrive Alive. I'm Mark Mulligan, and this is the space where I share inspiration, tips and ideas to boost your mood, your energy and your well-being. The corona pandemic has had a huge impact on how we work, play and connect. Every aspect of our lives has changed over the different stages of lockdown. According to the AXA report on European well-being, 63% of people have experienced an increase in work-related stress due to COVID. The impact was most acutely felt by young people between 18 and 24 and women, who in general carried out the burden of both caring for the elderly and homeschooling. The most viral post in the history of the Harvard Business Review was an article describing our collective response to corona as grief. That's grief for the loss of our loved ones and mourning for the loss of normality. Whilst the majority of people have experienced grief and more stress, of course this is not universal, with some people experiencing improved well-being. One of the phrases I heard during the pandemic that resonated with me the most was, "We might all have been in the same storm, but not in the same boat." Although the restrictions may have been similar for all of us, our personal experience may have been very, very different. Whatever your own personal experience, the pandemic has created the shock and space to think about what's really important to you in your life. So as you come out of lockdown, perhaps now is a good time to stop, take stock and reflect on what lessons you can learn from lockdown. What are the aspects that you've enjoyed and what do you want to maintain? What have you learned about yourself? What's really important to you? What hasn't worked for you and what would you want to change? I'd like to explore with you how you can shift how you think, feel and ultimately how you behave so that you can thrive more of the time as we move towards the next norm. As we come out of lockdown, it reminded me of a story I heard about a polar bear who arrived at a zoo. The bear arrived earlier than expected and his enclosure wasn't ready. The bear lived in a cage for 6 months when the work was being finished around him, pacing up and down inside. When the enclosure was completed and the door of the cage was opened, the bear refused to come out and he just continued to pace up and down in exactly the same way. This is referred to by the psychologist Martin Seligman as learned helplessness. This is a state that occurs after a person has experienced a stressful situation repeatedly. They come to believe that they are unable to control or change the situation, so they do not even try, even when the opportunity for change becomes available. So as we come out of lockdown and look to the future, I'd like to invite you to be more aware of the cage that might be holding you back and how you can make conscious choices so that you can thrive in the new norm. To help you reflect more deeply on what's really important to you, I'd like to share with you a simple model developed by Will Schutz, which looks at 3 basic interpersonal needs we have as human beings. First, we all have a need for control or self-determination. Second, a need for connection or affection with others. And third, a need for inclusion or belonging. If we look back over our time in lockdown, it's easy to see how each of these 3 basic human needs have been hugely affected. Let me take each in turn. The control we have over our lives has been slashed. Our worlds have become smaller and our ability to choose where we go or what we do has been taken away from us. Many plans, dreams or ambitions we've had in the past have had to be shelved or given up on completely. The opportunity to connect with others has been reduced. Virtual interactions are very different to meeting face to face. Our ability to show and receive affection have also been affected. Shaking hands or a pat on the back seem like gestures from a bygone era. Some of us recoil at the sight of friends hugging in public. Our sense of inclusion has also been affected. Many of us have been living on our own or in small social bubbles. The possibility for inviting others or being invited by them have shrunk severely. For some of us, we've become so used to the cage of lockdown, almost to the extent that we forget how it was before, or we're scared of reverting back to how it was before. For others, the reality of lockdown has been preferable, and we may wish to maintain as much of it as possible. Sometimes when I run sessions, people talk about loving working from home and not feeling pressurized into socializing. For others, there's a risk of a knee-jerk reaction and going a bit bonkers just because we can. What I'd like to explore with you is how you can choose how you think, feel and behave so that you can capitalize on the lessons of lockdown and create a new life for yourself where you can thrive more of the time. Let's look at the 3 interpersonal needs of control, connection, and inclusion, and under each, I'd like to invite you to reflect on 3 questions. Starting with control. What dream or plan did you lose control of because of lockdown, and how will you get it back? What are you intending to do that you're still hesitating about? And where have you become a bit of a control freak? Next, connection. As you think about the people who are most important to you in your life, how are you going to show them that you care? Who are you most looking forward to having a face-to-face conversation with at work? Who are you looking forward to having a heart-to-heart with? And finally, inclusion. Thinking back over your entire life, which tribes have you enjoyed being part of, and which ones would you like to rejoin? What social occasions would you hate to miss out on in the future? And what did you do out of duty or obligation before lockdown that you don't miss at all? Now, of course, we're all unique, and what's a basic need for one person may be a luxury or an annoyance for another. But as you come out of lockdown, it's a unique opportunity to use this as a catalyst to create a new norm or reality for yourself so that you can get more of your needs met. So that you can get the most benefit from this exercise, I'd like to invite you to reflect on just 3 things that you can do on the back of this video to feel more self-determining and in control, to feel more love and connection with others, and to feel a sense of belonging and inclusion. We've created a special thriving sheet for you so that you can get even more benefit from the exercise. You can download it on the Thriving website in the link below. Now I would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments in the section below this video. What did you find most useful? And what small change are you going to make? I look forward to seeing you back here next month, but in the meantime, be well and thrive.